My name is Jake Saunders. Many people know me as Jakesss on Discord. I started doing cybersecurity when I was, 16, I think? I got to go to this trade
Mm,
school during like half of my high school day. I went to the trade school, and half
yeah,
my day I did normal high school. The
yeah.
first year that I got to learn computer networking, so like Cisco, routers, switches, all that. And then the next year I got to do was the cybersecurity course. And during then I started doing National Cyber League, which is a US CTF, and that's what really got me passionate about cybersecurity and CTF competitions.
Hmm.
The team that I ran or whatever captained was called the Former Gifted Kids because we couldn't think of a better name. And it was we won back to back to back, which I don't think had ever been done in NCL history, which was really fun. It was very intense, but there's a lot of people from the US Cyber team that we played with that played in that team, and then a couple other people. And then I ended up winning the individual game my very last season by some absolute miracle. but
Crazy.
so yeah, after the high school, in high school with all those courses I did, I
Hmm.
got my CCNA and my Security Plus. And then like a year later, I decided to go for my OSCP. It was like my first time ever doing anything like pen testing or hacking related. And
Yep.
it took me like 800 hours of studying. I did it as part of a course
Oh,
for
that's
school.
nice.
It was like a self-study course, so I had to
Yeah.
track like every hour of studying I did. So I have this like spreadsheet of like every single hour of like everything I did. I can share you the link if you want to put in the description because I know a
Mm.
couple of people have used it to help them with OSCP. I did some like pen testing, like apprenticeships or internships or whatever. And then one day I was scrolling through LinkedIn and I saw this post for do the CTF and try to make the US cyber team. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
that sounds kind of cool. And I did the competition. I think I placed what maybe 16th out
Mm.
of the however many couple of thousand people played. Did all the requirements, and that was enough for me to make the team the first season. And then I did it for another season, which is like another year pretty much. And then this year I'm a sort of mentor
Yeah.
for the team. Although I haven't really been too active with that, but towards the start I was helping some of the new people figure out some of the tooling and how the AD competitions work because they're very different than normal capture the flag stuff. But the Unite or the US Cyber team just finished today, uh, competing in the international cybersecurity competition, and they got second place,
Ooh.
which is, I believe, our best finish. We got first in Jeopardy, which was crazy.
What did you like specialize in? I know you're like a web guy, but
Yeah,
CTFs are
yeah, I did.
all over the
I
place.
definitely did a lot of web for CTFs. That's web, and then also like miscellaneous categories. A lot of people in the CTF world kind of delve into like vulnerability research instead of like pen testing
Hmm.
or that sort of thing. So I would also do miscellaneous challenges like cloud challenges or like full pwn, where it's like the box pwn from like Hack the Box if that ever came up,
Yeah.
because not a lot of CTF players know how to do those sort of things. So those are
Y-
my specialties.
Yeah, it's a weird divide in the world.
It is. You have the CTFers and you have the Hack the Boxers, and there's like
Yeah.
two big groups.
I was like looking into your website a little bit, and like you talked a little bit about like CVE hunting, and I know a lot of people are always interested in that kind of stuff. I don't know if you want to like share about one of the CVEs that you had gotten in the past, if you have.
Sure. So I think I was studying for the OSWE at the time,
Hmm.
and this is one of them. And one of the modules had this PHP like eval, like a jail around the eval function,
Hmm.
because they needed to do some sort of function calls or whatever inside from user input, but they had this like disgustingly bad like jail around it, and whenever you look at the OSWE curriculum, the bypass was like pretty trivial, but
Yeah.
then they patched it. So then I went back and looked, and I was reading through the code. I'm like, this has to still be vulnerable somehow. So I spent like 6 days trying to figure out how to bypass it, and I came really close.
Mhm.
And then I was like, my brain was just complete mush. So I uh, kind of gave the problem over to one of my friends, Strelick. He's also on Team USA and Dice Gang. And he looked at my payload and he looked at the code for like half an hour and he was like, you just need to put a space right there. And I'm like, what? So I put
That's
a
messed
space
up.
in one of the payloads and it worked. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, story of my life is missing the one last little piece to get the full authenticated RCE for this application.
I mean, that's what's amazing about getting a new, like a fresh pair of eyes. They'll look at it for like 10 minutes, man, and then they'll figure out exactly what's wrong. You're like, what, what do you
Yeah.
mean?
It's like, yeah, I was happy to be done with researching that, but at the same time, I was like, no.
Yeah, for sure. That was a Dolly bar, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was Dolly Bar. And I
Yeah.
think I did end up even getting the CVE for that because I think somebody beat me to it, which is
Ah,
really unfortunate by like a month or two. But it was really weird because I submitted the vulnerability to like a bug bounty program or whatever because
mm-hmm.
they had a bug bounty or VDP or whatever it was. I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
And uh, it gives you like a ID like attached to your report, and I don't think they really ever responded to my report. But when you look at the patch on GitHub for the software, they referenced my report number. So
Yeah.
I was like, huh, interesting.
So they saw it, but they didn't,
They didn't
credit it
acknowledge
properly.
it because I
Yeah.
think one of my friends thinks that they just referenced that ID number, but someone still just beat me to it by like a month.
Mm.
So it's all right.
It happens. It happens. I remember the first time that I was like doing security research and stuff on a open source app. I found something, but it was already reported through like a Japanese CNA, and I was like, what? Like 3 months beforehand, I was like, oh, I was doing CPTS then. Like, if only I was
Yeah.
a little bit more diligent. But yeah,
I was studying for CAPE for a little bit, but I
yeah.
decided to move on to OSAI, which is like the OffSec's pen testing cert for against like AI systems like MCPs,
Hmm.
all those sort of things. It's pretty interesting so far.
Did you do any of like the hack the box AI stuff? I know that it's like a lot of
Um,
theory.
I have not. I think a couple of my friends did it, and they said it was pretty good. At least like there was a lot of theory that maybe it would be hard to learn elsewhere, but
Mhm.
I think Hackbox did a good job of teaching it.
So you're working on OSAI, huh? Is there any other like certifications? Well, what's your favorite one that you've done over the years? Do you have a favorite?
Probably. I mean, the OSCP was not really. I mean, okay, the test was pretty fun.
Hmm.
Oh gosh, you're gonna making me think back to my first OSCP attempt. So my first OSCP attempt, I pwned enough boxes to pass, and then so you get 24 hours of test, 24 hours to write your report. So I'm like, I finished the test, I had enough points, and I'm like, all right, I'll wake up tomorrow and write the report. I did the report the next day. It's all written in Markdown, and I have like an hour left till submission. So I'm like, all right, this is good. I'll be able to pass.
Hmm.
I was using this. I was using Pandoc,
Yeah.
and then some template I found online to do the Markdown to PDF conversion. And I hit convert, and it's like error. I'm like, okay, I fixed that error, and it goes error again, and I fix that error, and then it keeps popping up more, and more errors. So I'm like, at this point, we
Mm.
have like 30 minutes left. I'm kind of like, hmm,
Yeah,
this is getting a
because
little sketch.
I've had this
And
happen to me before. The Paddock to PDF errors, man. Oh my god.
brutal. To this day, I still have no idea what went wrong, but I failed the test because I couldn't. I was so
Couldn't
brain
submit
dead. Like I
it.
really could have just put it into Obsidian, pasted it into Obsidian, exported the PDF, and been done with it and passed. But I was
Yeah,
so brain dead from being up for like I think it was 22 hours in a row where I
yeah.
just did the test. And yeah, I failed. And then I took the test again a couple weeks later and I passed that time. I just used Obsidian, no
Mm,
Pandoc. And now I use for all the other OffSec certs I've done, like the OSWE and the OSCP, I used Sysraptor.
yeah, Sysraptor is really nice. That's what I did for CPTS.
Mhm. It's just everything works pretty well. And I also used that at my last contract job. They had a custom fork of Sysraptor, and it
Ooh.
was pretty nice, pretty nice.
Yeah, the reporting aspect. I mean, like people don't realize that, like how big of a part the reporting is, but it's like basically everything, and it kind of sucks because like oh, I just want to do security research or I just want to find vulnerabilities, but it's like you also have to know how to do all the reporting and templating
Oh
properly
yeah.
and like creating your own templates and doing all that. And it's like
Hmm.
I mean, like once you have it set up though, you get the workflow going. It's easy, but it takes a little bit of time to build that muscle memory, I guess.
Yeah, and my old last full-time job was at Depth Security, and they
Mm.
had been around for like 15 years. So they had like a huge like template database.
Oh
And
no.
whenever I left them and I started doing contract work, I was like, man, I really miss that template database right now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, you don't realize how good you have it until
Oh yeah.
until you
But
leave.
here's the thing, is we wrote reports in Microsoft Word.
Oh god.
That was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But you get used to it. But at first, I was just like, seriously. But
Yeah.
once you do it for a couple months, you
You
begin to speed up, and it's not so bad.
you
But I
you
love
figure
writing
it
in
out.
Markdown.
Yeah, I write everything in Markdown too, and so it's a weird transition. I know that like my work has like a custom reporting thing. I haven't used it yet, so gonna see how that works. But yeah, it's always iffy. That was like the
Of
first
course,
question I
too.
asked in the interview. I was like, man, please tell me your reporting system's good.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the after I worked for Depth, that's also one of my questions because I just didn't want to work in
Hmm.
anything but Markdown, to be honest. So.
Yeah, literally. It just doesn't make sense. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but with a company that's been around that long, like they had
Yeah.
this Microsoft a word ribbon, which is like pretty much you can plug and play like C# code into Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
So like it did a lot, it automated a lot of the stuff, but it was just old.
When did you get to Italy, and how has it been? You really like the food stuff. I want to know about the food stuff more than the security stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
For real. It was kind of funny. So I'm doing culinary school. I decided to like kind of 180 from security for a little bit. I wanted to do
Hmm.
something with my hands, and I'm also
Yeah.
Italian, so I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of go and like embrace the culture for a bit, I guess, and kind of learn about my roots.
Yeah.
So I decided to do culinary school. And funny enough, we were talking about pen test reports. I posted a photo in one of my Discord channels, and it was like I just now realized I have swapped pen test reporting hell for dishwashing hell.
What have you been making?
We've made all sorts of things. We've made like lots of vegetable dishes, which I'm not like a big vegetable guy before this,
Hmm.
but once you have like a Michelin star chef teaching you how to prepare vegetables, they're like, it is kind of good. I'm like, maybe I will start eating more vegetables.
Yeah.
But today we did stuffed pasta, so like ravioli, other stuff, and then the day before was like normal pastas, so like
Mm.
spaghetti, etc., etc. Just making that all by hand, and it's really interesting because whenever you cook those, it's like two, depending on the type of pasta, it's like you boil it for like 2 to 3 minutes, not like seven,
Hmm.
8 plus minutes because it's fresh.
Yeah. That's cool. Like hand
So,
making your own pasta. Like, do you like use a machine? Like what? Like they got their own little like industrial
yeah,
pasta making
so
machines.
I'm sure they do, but for us at our school, we would knead the dough by hand,
Hmm.
and then there's a machine to you flatten it as much as you can, and then there's a machine that'll like really flatten it, like more than a human reasonably could.
Hmm.
And then on the other side of the machine, it like cuts it for you.
Ah,
I was
okay.
afraid that we were gonna have to cut them by hand, but apparently some people do that, which I guess makes sense. Like if you're just like cooking at home,
Yeah.
but like I would not want to cut every single strand of pasta by hand. Sounds brutal.
Takes way too
There
much time.
was
Oh man.
there was this other type of pasta we made. I forget the name of it. I'm so bad at remembering all the Italian names for all the stuff. But we literally, it was like it's like a circular, and we had to
Yeah.
roll we had like this dough, and you had to like roll it out and then cut it in half, and then roll it out again wide, and then cut it in half, and roll
Hmm.
it out wide again until it's like super skinny. So you had to do that like roll, cut, roll, cut, roll, cut, and for like 20 or 25 different pieces of pasta. It was ridiculous. But it
Ah.
turned out quite tasty though. I think we combined that with some sauce. It was with black garlic, which I had no idea was a thing.
What is black
But
garlic? Wait, what? That's
garlic,
crazy.
but it's
Black.
black,
Yeah.
and you bake it you can wrap it up in aluminum foil
Yeah.
and put it in the oven. I think he did like 180 degrees Celsius for like.
This doesn't look real. This looks like coal, man. Like, wait, what?
But it's interesting because whenever you bake it and you take it out and
Yeah.
you squeeze out all the insides of the garlic, it
Yeah.
tastes like licorice,
Oh.
like black licorice.
So is this just like baked garlic that makes it black, or is it like an actual?
I believe it like starts black.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, it is like actually like a plant in East Asia. Wow. I didn't know this existed. Dude, the sauce, like making sauces and stuff, that's like the most fun part for me at least. Like
Hmm.
in cooking, I don't know. Like I know that they do like special like I don't know what it's called, like sauce. What's the sauce chef called? I forgot. But
A
there's
sauce
special
chef.
yeah. There's a special name for it. I forgot what it is though. Um the saucier or something like
A sauce
that.
either.
Oh man. Well, it's like the I don't know, like cooking is like a really good experience, I think. And you just like get to take care of yourself better and like living a healthier life. Are you still doing security and like the food stuff at the same time, or are you just taking a break, like a full break?
I'm like, so right now I'm working on a pipeline
Mm-hmm.
to take all the notes that all the culinary students take and combine them into like a wiki so that we have like all our recipes be immortalized for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's three students, and sometimes like one person gets to take notes, but the others have to like go chop vegetables or saute something, and they
Yeah.
don't get to write everything down. So everybody's notes are kind of like disorganized. So I'm trying to like centralize everything and then use AI art to combine everything.
Yeah.
But I almost took a contract, a very interesting contract recently,
Mhm.
but I decided not to just because of the high level of risk.
Yeah.
But pretty much, I'm in a red team Discord channel,
Yeah.
and we get a message, and they're like, "Hey, there's this guy who needs a fishing operation done. If you want to do it, let me know." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I could use some money."
Hmm.
And I speak to this guy, and he's like, "Yes, so pretty much, we have an external IT team, and there is a hostile takeover happening within my company right now."
Okay.
And the guy, yeah, and the external IT team was like on the side of the people doing the hostile takeover,
Hmm.
allegedly.
Yeah.
So they locked the owner out of all of his accounts, all his SharePoint, his Outlook, which has everything for his business in it,
Yeah.
which is crazy work. And the problem is that the guy believed that the people doing the takeover were deleting evidence and files that they needed.
Hmm.
So they were trying to get somebody to fish one of the guys who was doing the hostile takeover to get his like Entra ID credits.
This is
and go
crazy.
and read emails and see like how this hostile takeover occurred. And I was like, whoa, like that would have been such a cool project. And they're in Luxembourg.
Wait,
So I'm like,
what? They have.
yo, like it would have been made for a really cool talk. Be like
Yeah.
one fish to rule them all. But I ended up not taking it. And it was really sad because it could have been like a really nice paycheck because it was so urgent, so you could like probably charge more.
Yeah.
And like a really cool story. Well, like how I like just stopped a hostile takeover from happening. That'd be
Yeah.
really cool. But I spoke to many, many, many of my colleagues, and despite the lawyers of that company saying that I could have like full immunity from,
Hmm.
I pretty much I would do the work under the company. So if anything, if anybody like say the people who were conducting the hostile takeover tried to sue me, they would have to sue the company.
Yeah.
But I just talked to a bunch of people. They were like, I think the risk is too high, and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather not take the risk of rotting in a jail in Luxembourg.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just I don't know, like when it comes to like that legal stuff, it's like do I really want the
Yeah.
headache? Even if the paycheck is really good. Like
Yeah, and the story would have been crazy. Like that would have been a really cool talk for a conference, but yeah, we decided not to. And like I could tell that the lawyers who were like doing all the paperwork, they weren't like didn't know
Hmm.
like security law, I felt like.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to go and get it checked out, I have to pay for a lawyer myself. So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure. Decided not to, but would have been very fun.
Well, there's always gonna be new doors opening and like more opportunities. So I don't know. Like once you get the OSAI, you start doing red team like AI engagements and stuff. Like that's gonna be big for
Could
you.
be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing that AI won't be able to do completely autonomously for a long time is red team operations.
Hmm. I
Because
mean,
like when you have a web app and you have like source code or you have like a test instance, who cares if an agent like brings down the server or like purges a database on accident because it's development or it's a testing environment, who cares?
hmm.
But once you get inside like a Fortune 500 company's internal environment, there's no room for error. And
Yeah.
also another thing that I was talking to some people about was how they kind of need to be able to attribute actions to somebody.
Yeah.
It's like if a network does get taken down, they have to be able to attribute it to an engineer rather than just an agent. So,
It's just a liability issue. You always need people to take the blame for the dumb shit that
yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I was always told, I was like, there's going to be some day where you take down a website or you take down a network when you're pen testing. And I did pen testing like the last job was like 10 months full time. I never did. So I was like,
Hmm.
woohoo. But knock on
Success.
wood.
Well,
Knock
I
on
mean,
wood.
like, you never know how delicate their infrastructure is. You just did double check. Uh,
Exactly. And especially when everything's like, there's like so many IPs in so few days, it's like I have no choice but to like hammer it.
you want to talk about your red team experiences? You have anything funny to talk about
Um,
that you can share?
you always generalize. I had a pretty cool test. It was just a web pen test I had before I left depth security, but pretty much we were asked to do, it was a web app test. It was scoped as a web app.
Hmm.
But whenever I click into the URLs that they give us, it leads me to a Splunk instance. So I'm like,
Ah.
hold up. They're not expecting me to test Splunk black box, right? Because all the tests there are black box, which is awful.
Hmm.
But we talked to the client some more, and there's an app within Splunk. So they have like an app store, and you can install applications to extend the functionality of Splunk.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the test, and it's a 2 week test. And I'm 9 days out of 10 in, and I have absolutely nothing because all of the security is handled by Splunk. Like authentication is handled by Splunk, authorization is handled by Splunk. et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like, there's just nothing here. But then I convinced them to send me source code because there was this. It was really going to be hard to do that test with the way the Splunk works
Hmm.
without potentially going out of scope. So I asked for the source code, and I was reading through the code on the last day at like 4 p.m. trying to find something, and then I finally found an XSS, a stored XSS.
Yeah.
And by usually like XSS probably won't be possible in Splunk because they have proper filtering and coding, blah blah blah. But the people in the who created the application within Splunk introduced some vulnerable JavaScript.
Hmm.
So I was able to create this like dashboard that loaded some vulnerable JavaScript that allowed me to get XSS. And if you're able to XSS super user or admin user or whatever it is in Splunk, you can upload an application to Splunk, and that's free RCE. So on the
I
last day, I
see.
got a XSS to RCE chain, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's like it took for that Dolly Bar app I was talking about, eval. They had the application claims that millions of people use it, and
Hmm.
until that CVE was submitted by that guy first and then me, I think they finally started actually properly whitelisting like what functions you could run. So I looked at it again recently and I wasn't able to find anything, but I don't know. It's still like super sketch the whole way the jail around that eval function works, but it seems to be working for now.
Until you find until you throw enough AI at it or some bullshit. I don't
I did. I threw like Opus, I think it was like 4.5 at it. I couldn't find anything.
know.
It seems okay now, but there's also another test I did where it was against a finance application where you could like trade. I don't know if it was stocks. I think it was stocks or like other stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I was able to find a stored. So there was two interesting bugs. There was a stored XSS, which was authenticated, like a low-level user could XSS any other user,
Yeah.
including admins. And there was a second vulnerability that was interesting, which was oh gosh, what's the was it? Yeah, web cache deception. I
Hmm.
think that was it. Let me. Okay, yeah, cache deception, not cache poisoning. I want to make sure I didn't mix the two up. So, web cache deception is a vulnerability class that can happen wherever you have a web server and it has a CDN in front of it. Like, what's the one that they had?
Cloudflare.
Uh, that's an example of one. I'm trying to remember what one they used. Akamai. They used Akamai.
Hmm.
And Akamai, we found several instances of Akamai or websites that use Akamai as their CDN were vulnerable to this bug. And pretty much what happens is there's some discrepancies sometimes in the way that a CDN and the way that a web server interprets paths.
Yeah.
So pretty much what was possible was I could go to page.com/super secret trade as sorry, you can send a link to somebody that says super secret or sorry, web.com/super secret trade.
Hmm.
And pretty much, if you were to send that and they were to click it, nothing would happen. But if you were to do blah.com/super secret trade slash test.png, pretty much if you, so CDNs cache stuff like images, GIFs, or whatever, and there's a discrepancy with the way Akamai worked in this instance
Yeah.
and it would cache the page with the secret information on it, even though that it had like dynamic content on it. It wasn't like a image or a GIF or something like that. And what you could do as an attacker was if you knew what path you wanted to be able to see, you can send a phishing email and be like, hey, can you please click this link and check on blah, blah, blah. I don't know. You can figure out a better pretext. But if a user clicks that link, it would cache their super secret page onto the onto or in Akamai,
Yeah,
and any unauthenticated attacker could view that cached page. So the impact of this was you could have someone who's making stock trades, and if they could convince that person to click a link, the unauthenticated attacker could view this person's trades. Which
I
is
see.
interesting because if you have someone like, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi or like others, people who make a
Yeah,
lot of money in the
and
stock
then you can
market,
show the
it
portfolio and like,
can see
yeah,
their trades, that'd be
yeah,
huge.
yeah.
So that was a really fun bug.
That is pretty
And there is a
cool.
stored XSS as well, which allowed you to also execute trades on somebody's behalf, which
Hmm.
was pretty nasty. I never had a critical XSS before. Or actually, I don't think I reported it as critical. I reported it as high, but it was kind of like borderline. Like if
Yeah,
I can spend people's money, especially spending it in the stock market, that's pretty
it's
bad.
it's interesting because it's like it's a part of it is like how you tell the story, right? On like the severity of the bug. Like if
Mhm,
you can spin it in such a way where like yeah, it has huge business impact. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
you're literally like this is your whole like this is your financial platform and you're anybody's able to like make a trade for somebody else. Like that's a huge bug for them, you know? Like they might not care about something else that might be I don't even know. Like well, yeah, you know what I mean. They might not care for like a vulnerability as much if it doesn't have business impact, or if you don't
Absolutely.
explain it as well, right?
Yeah, your job as a pen tester is not only just to hack, not only just to report and like tell these people like what the vulnerability is, but relating it to them and their business
Mm-hmm.
and their risk and being like it's kind of like, yeah, what if I have like a CVSS 10.0 unoff RCE on
Mm-hmm.
this server, but it's isolated in a VLAN that nobody has access to, then it's like it's not as urgent to fix as like a externally facing
Yeah,
software that's vulnerable to RCE. So it's helping your clients figure out what is
the
uh,
priority.
the priority. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Because so it might be where like you have the 10.0 CVSS vulnerability, and then externally you have something lower, but the external vulnerability has is more likely to be exploited. So you fix that first. So it's helping them understand that is ultimately what good pen testers at least should be doing.
All right, I got one final question for you before
True.
we end it off. Because like you do so many CTFs and you get to fly out and places, go to places and stuff like that. So I wanted to know, you know, like what's your favorite place, your destination that you went with your team with for a CTF.
Thanks. There's been so many interesting ones. I've gotten to go to places in Italy. I went to Tunis. I went to China once. That was pretty crazy.
Oh damn! Wait,
And then a
for what
couple other
CTF?
ones. It was called Mimic CTF.
Okay.
And that was crazy because they paid for everything. It's like they
Yeah.
flew us out, they gave us hotel rooms. And man, the fast food in China is so good.
Yeah.
They literally gave us KFC 3 nights in a row and like nobody complained because it was so good. And China's so funny because their translations to English aren't very good sometimes.
Yeah.
There was one time where we were like going up this tower or whatever, and they had these English translations. There's like one stairwell going up and one stairwell going down, and the translation for the one going up said "up." I'm like, all right, that makes sense. And then the sign for going down says opposite of up. I'm like, are you
Oh,
serious?
I see.
But I really enjoyed China. It was my first time being in Asia. I learned how to use chopsticks. Did like lots of hot pots. Got to go to like these night markets. It was really cool. But also Tunis was really cool. They had like the people were super super nice and very welcoming. And I drank lots of like espressos and coffees at night, which I wasn't really used to. So like my body would just be like super awake. So I had to take melatonin. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm super blessed. I've gotten to go and travel and see a lot of like really cool competitions and meet a lot of really cool people. And we
Where
have CTFs
is
for that.
where's Tunis? Is that Tunisia? Like North Africa?
Tunis, yeah, it's in Tunisia.
Ah, okay, okay.
I think it might be pronounced Tunis. I don't know. Which is like it's very like the northernmost part of Africa.
Yeah.
So there's like I went there and then I took a flight to Italy for it was Snake CTF finals, I think, which was in Legnano,
Hmm.
which is pretty close to Venice, I think. But I haven't visited Venice yet. I need to go do that. Add it to the to-do list. I'm hoping to like go to on some weekend trips to different places in Europe while I'm here. I need to go to Germany, get a beer real quick, and then come back just to say I did. It stinks because I would love to go visit some of these places like more than 2 days, but I also don't want to miss school. So
Yeah.
I like
What are you
few
gonna
months on me.
do after like the culinary? I don't know how long it is. I think it's like 4 months or something.
It's 12 weeks, so 3 months.
3 months. Okay.
I'm already two-thirds of a month in. Time is flying. Holy cow.
Yep.
That's crazy. I feel like I just blinked and I just got here.
Time flies when you're having fun, man.
Time does fly indeed. But after culinary school, they only get 90 days as an American
Hmm.
in Italy before you have to go back home and get
Yeah.
a visa. So I'll have to go back home at least for a little bit. And I'm considering getting a visa and coming back for like another month or two. But I kind of want to come back home because uh, I would finish, I think, July 4th. And then DEF CON and Black
Oh,
Hat are like the week of August,
yeah.
I think. First week of August or second week of August. So I want to come back to that and then probably get a full time job.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Hopefully, I won't become obsoleted
By
by AI
AI.
by then.
Hopefully
If that
not.
doesn't work out, I want to do web stuff. Uh,
Web dev?
there's a couple like no like web pen testing.
Ah, okay,
I
okay.
want to I want to do that with source codes. So companies like Zelic,
Hmm.
where they do Web3 stuff, but they also have like Web2 aspects, and you get like full source code. I want to do stuff like that because I want to start like actually reading code again. Because I haven't really done many CTFs recently. Like the only CTFs I really do now are finals because it's not as fun as it used to be.
Yeah, you start to lose that like passion and drive once you get to where you were trying to go in the first place.
It's more just that for me, like the big drive towards CTFs was it's so competitive.
Mm.
And I was always like an athlete growing up and did like soccer and sports and all that. So I was like always loved competition. So I think that's what really hooked me on CTFs. So now that I mean, there's still all those aspects, but a lot of it's just being turned into who has the most tokens or who has the best harness. And it's kind of just like,
Yeah. I kind of forgot that like AI completely flipped the the script on CTFs.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like as people creating like challenges, like people used to really enjoy creating really hard challenges because people would go and solve those challenges and they get feedback and it would be really cool.
Hmm.
But now you have GPT 5.5 extra high just going in and slapping these challenges that people work so hard on in like half an hour. And it's kind of like, dang, dude,
What was it?
people aren't going to be motivated to write hard challenges anymore.
Yeah, and then it loses that sense of competition, right? Because like the challenges suffer as well as like
Exactly.
the people who are actually competing. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know how you even fix it, to be honest.
Yeah, the ICC, the competition that all the national teams go to, I think they banned AI for the majority of the competition. If
Hmm.
I remember correctly, I think they banned it for 6 hours out of 8 for like Jeopardy
Yeah.
CTF. So that was pretty cool. There was like no solves and RE. I guess everybody forgot how to do reverse engineering because they let their agents do it. But yeah, I think that's one way you can do it. But the problem is the only way to like really run a good CTF is by being able to like enforce no AI rules.
Yeah,
And you can only really do that in real life. And even then, in real life, people are gonna
they're gonna cheat,
try this. They
or they're
might, yeah. But
well,
also,
they'll
I
find a
think a lot of
way.
the teams that are doing in-person finals have like kind of have integrity. I
Mm.
haven't heard of anybody like trying to blatantly use AI and where it was banned in finals, like on-site finals, but I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It is like just difficult. So difficult to like enforce bans, especially like for broader CTFs. You know what I mean? Like online
Oh,
ones.
like
Like it's like
online
yeah,
ones?
it's
Yeah, it's
yeah, it's not
impossible.
impossible. Yeah.
There was like one CTF where they were just banning people because they thought they were using AI, and it's like, oh, how do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think there was any prizes or anything, so it didn't really matter that much. Or maybe there was. I don't know. But yeah, life's crazy. 2026 has been quite the ride so far.
Well, thank you so much, man, for coming on and like talking to me. I know you have so much stuff to do. There's so many things that we gotta do, and like, it's cool to hear about your story though. I'm sure like other people are interested about it too.
Yeah, dude, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.